a squad full of max ability players win the Champions League trophy 10 seasons in a row in Football Manager 2023? It's not a commonly asked question, but it is a question that I will answer in this video today. I have replaced the squad of Icelandic club Knattspyrnufelagid Vikingur, or Viking for short, with this squad of max ability players. And why Viking and why Iceland, you ask? Well, Viking are the current Icelandic champions, which means they get a shot at actually being part of the Champions League in the very first season. However, due to their low coefficient ranking, they will enter the competition in the Champions Path first preliminary round. They actually have to qualify for the Champions League qualifying, so they are as far away as a team can possibly be in winning the Champions League trophy. So let's dive in and take a look at some of these Viking players. So guys, here is the GOAT squad that we have created. I have no doubts in my mind that this squad will be the greatest of all time that you will ever see in Football Manager. What we've basically done here is we have gone in and replaced this club's entire squad with max ability players. For those of you who didn't know, each player within Football Manager has a current ability rating, and that rating goes from 0 all the way to 200. So we've cranked that dial, we've maxed these guys out at 200 current ability, and they've got an entire squad full of this level of player. So if we dive in and take a look at somebody here, let's pull up Jonsson here. Unai Jonsson, as you can see, he looks fantastic. He is at Vikingur Reykjavik, and attribute wise, he looks insane. This is the balance of what 200 current ability can get you. As you can see though, we have arranged a future transfer for him so that every one of these players stay at the club for the full 10 years of this experiment. This one in particular will be joining Barcelona. But as you can see, he looks fantastic, and the eagle-eyed of you will notice that he has a profile picture. Despite being a completely new player, an artificially created player by us, by my database guy CTXCB, you can check him out down in the description. They have faces, and the reason they have faces is because I have used the collection that have been populated by the FMU, otherwise known as Paul. He has a Google Drive which is full of AI created profile pictures for you guys to use in Football Manager. They're categorized into all these different regions. I have ripped apart some of the ones for Scandinavia here for this video today, so I will leave a link to Paul down in the description as well, so please do go and check him out, because these faces are created artificially using AI, using an app called Midjourney, which is absolutely brilliant. The detail, the definition in these images is actually staggering. I think they look fantastic. But each one of these players, as you can see, has an image from that database that I have pulled, and they are ready to take the world by storm. If we take a look at a couple of things before we get started though, despite this club being predicted to finish first in their division, they don't necessarily have the best facilities. They got 8 in terms of training facilities and youth facilities. These run much like player attributes as well, guys. They run from 0 all the way up to 20. So they're 8, so they're just under the middle of the road. They have okay finances right now. They have a 2.5-star reputation, which is listed as national, and they have an estimated value of 19.75 billion. These are 19.75 million, definitely not billion. Their stadium is over in Reykjavik in Iceland and has a capacity of 1,449. So what we're going to do, guys, we are going to jump forward a full season to see if this club can go all the way from the first round of qualifying all the way to the Champions League title. Now, I will say I wasn't actually paying attention as much as I probably should have done when I set this experiment up, because I actually used the English start date, not the Icelandic start date. So their season has already started, and they've already had a couple of qualifying matches, shall we say, in the Champions League. The first preliminary rounds, they've gone through the first round, they've gone through the second preliminary round. They won their first game 4-0, they won their second game 6-0, and now they go into the actual first qualifying round of the Champions League. So they've got several rounds to get through just before they even get to the group stages, and they will take on HJK, a team based out in Finland, which is going to be very interesting to see how they get on first and foremost. The first step in this journey, we are going to jump forward just one season to see if they do go from the very start of the competition all the way to the very end. So we are 1 year into the future. It is 2023, and did Vikingur go all the way to win that title? Well, I can say they did. They managed to go from coast to coast, from first preliminary qualifying round all the way to lifting that trophy in Istanbul. They beat Manchester City in that final as well. So Vikingur Reykjavik putting their name in the history books. If I go on the overview of the competition and click on this one here, you can see Ulrik Johannesson scored the winner in the 29th minute. Despite having a man sent off, they were kind of in control of this one. I'm leaving the tactic entirely up to their manager. So he is coming head to head with Pep Guardiola here, and it looks like he's done absolutely brilliantly. Phil Foden and Rodrigo injured for Man City here, but 63% possession. This team from Iceland are definitely in control. Can I see the goal? No, I can't, but this is the guy who scored it. Ulrik Johannesson, he looks brilliant as well. The club's number 10. Very good season for Vikingur. What can they do over the next 10 years? They've won the first one. Can they now go on to win 10 in a row? If you think they will, let me know down in that comment section. Or if you don't think they will, let me know how many Champions League trophies they will win over the course of 10 seasons. Let's jump forward 10 years. I'll be back in a sec. So guys, do you think they won 10 in a row? Well, this is the reveal moment. I can confirm that a squad of max ability players will win the Champions League 10 consecutive seasons in a row. Vikingur Reykjavik absolutely dominated, blitzing away a majority of the competition. They actually beat English competition so much in this. Man City, the perennial runners-up, it would seem. They were runners-up in that first season that we did discuss, but they went on to beat PSG, Real Madrid, Chelsea, Liverpool, Barcelona, Madrid again, Man City, Arsenal, and then Manchester City again to win 10 Champions Leagues in a row. If we go in the overview, you can see the last game or the last trophy win that they did have, obviously against Manchester City. 3-1 in that final. Absolutely blitzed Man City, to be perfectly honest. Looking at the stats of the game, annihilated them. Interesting Manchester City team though. They've got Mamadashvili in there. They've got Ruben Diaz, Nuno Mendes, Joshua Kimmich, Jude Bellingham. That's a very interesting one. Yeremy Pino, Jamal Musiala. They still have goal machine Erling Haaland, but they're no match for my team of robots from Iceland. They have absolutely blitzed them and won their 10th Champions League in a row. If we actually click on Vikingur, I'm sure you will see there are the 10 Champions Leagues down there. They've also won 1 Club World Cup as well, 9 UEFA Super Cups. They were only eligible to play in 9, and they did win all 9. But there are some very interesting things knocking around here as well. They now have 20 out of 24, both training facilities and youth facilities. They've got that 19 as well in terms of their youth recruitment. I've noticed as well they've actually moved to a brand new stadium, year built 2026. The capacity of this one just over 19,000, which is very impressive for a team knocking around the Icelandic Premier League or top division. I'm not really sure what the correct terminology is here. They now have a worldwide reputation, as you kind of would expect for a team winning 10 Champions Leagues in a row. They are rich. Again, no real surprises. They haven't had to buy any players because they've all just been there for the 10-year stretch. And the club is now valued at £2 billion. Yes, that is billion this time with a B. Crushing it, this club from Iceland. So well done to Vikingur here. In terms of some of the other stuff, guys, as I said, they have absolutely annihilated this. I just want to kind of go and have a look at this managerial record. Arne Gunnlaugson, a former player in the English leagues as well. I believe he played at Bolton and Stoke and a few others. He currently has a 93% win ratio at the club. Now, bearing in mind, he was the existing manager before we took over and gave him a God squad. He is, I imagine, the best manager that the world has ever seen. So he's won everything domestically. He's not moved clubs. He's been here the entire time. The manager absolutely crushing it. In terms of some of the other stuff though, guys, let's dot around and see what has happened to, first of all, let's have a look at the league and the league coefficient. So the league coefficient was a lot lower previously. I believe they were like 52nd or 62nd or something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. The Icelandic league, because of Vikingur, is now ranked as the 10th best league in Europe. It has just overtaken the Cinch Premiership, it's above the Turkish league, and it is just below the Austrian league as well. So it's definitely had a meteoric rise. If we go and take a look, where is it? Right there. It was previously 12th. It now has a 3.5-star reputation as a league, and the Premier League is still maintaining that top League status. But if we ran this for another 10 years, who actually knows? So Viking are absolutely crushing it there in terms of some of these things. Ultimately, my question is, because all of these players are Icelandic, how have Iceland actually got on in international competition? So if we click on here, you can see the first thing I noticed was this big first here. Iceland is the top team in the world. They have the highest coefficient points, 2,179 points, which is quite a margin, almost 105 points more than France, who are currently in second. So Iceland are absolutely crushing it with this squad. Is no real surprise. They won 2 World Cups, 2 European Championships, 2 European/South American Super Cups, and 2 Nations League titles as well. So they have just won and won and won. Hypothetically, let's have a look and see if they have. So they drew here with Portugal. Rafael Leao doing the business there. But is it, other than that, is it just a clean sweep? They won 10-0 in one World Cup game. They beat Lebanon 17-0 in a World Cup. That is ludicrous. But it looks like they lost to Croatia. UEFA Nations League final. Well done, Croatia, beating a team of God Squad players. Absolutely smashing it. Other than that, it looks like Iceland have absolutely been crushing it. Now, I'm sure you have a question, and I do as well. Let's go and have a look at the Ballon d'Or, because my assumption is that one of the players from Vikingur has won it every single year. So we click on the Ballon d'Or. Not one of the players from a club that have won the Champions League 10 seasons in a row has won the Ballon d'Or. That is absolutely crazy. So first of all, obviously, Karim Benzema in there as well, Lewandowski, Mo Salah, Haaland, Mbappe, Vlahovic, Mbappe. Not one player from Vikingur in the top 3 in the Ballon d'Or, which is very, very interesting. Have any of them won the goal 50? No, not won the goal 50 either. Have any of them NXGN maybe, or are they too old for that? Looks like they are potentially too old for that. Yep, Jude Bellingham picking up the earliest ones in this save. Surely, World Golden Glove. It's not even. The goalkeeper's not even listed in the best goalkeepers. But they've won the Champions League, and he just doesn't concede in Iceland. It is absolutely crazy. Okay, let's have a look at the FIFA Pro Team of the Year. So we've got Christiansen here. So we've got 1 fullback and 1 central attacking midfielder in this team right now. This is the fullback, 29 years of age, 115 caps for Iceland. Absolutely smashing it. And Ragnarsson here. Ragnarsson, sorry if I say that correctly. He is in here as well. He's got 76 caps for his country. These two make it into the current season. We've also got our goalkeeper there. Thomas Mathiasson is the backup goalkeeper for this team. I don't understand how a man can be a backup goalkeeper when he's this damn good. But never mind. Obviously, the stats that are tracked on this are absolutely ridiculous. It's just tracked on goals, which doesn't really help when identifying some of this. But if we go on to the All Seasons tab, let's see. None of our players are in there. Not one player from Vikingur has made it into the Team of the Year all time since this save began, which to me is absolutely preposterous and shows the big club bias on this. But today we have answered the question, can a team full of max ability players win 10 Champions Leagues in a row? If you have enjoyed the experimental content on the channel, guys, please do drop a like on it. That is the best way for me to see if you are enjoying the content. Subscribe to the channel if you are new around here and like this sort of content on Football Manager. And if you do like the experimental content, guys, check out this playlist. It's going to pop up right here, right now, for you to have a look at all the experiments that I've done on this year's game so far.